Good evening to you. Thank you very much for joining me on Business. Economist Marty has challenged government to prioritize improving revenue mobilization and cutting down on expenditure to boost non-oil growth. He says that should be the priority of President Akufo-Addo's government as it enters its second year. Government is said to be happy with the growth in the economy, but experts say that has been largely based on growth in the oil sector. Assessing the performance of government for the 1 year in office, Marty said government's performance in the second year would be based on how it is able to grow the non-oil sector. There's more in this report.
President Akufo-Addo officially assumes office on the 7th of January 2017 with a task of establishing a strong economy to enhance job creation and improve upon the living standards. Since then, a number of initiatives have been rolled out. This includes a One District, One Factory program and a critical initiative for government's industrialization agenda. The Planting for Food and Jobs initiative, as well as the One District, One Dam, were also introduced to boost the agriculture sector, which has been on the decline path for some time now. Economist Marty further assesses the performance of the government.
From a macroeconomic perspective, I would say it's been satisfactory. And I would have to add that it doesn't mean that there is no more work to be done. But when you look at the macro numbers and what needs to be done from one state to the other, you first of all need to attain and restore macroeconomic stability. You need to ensure that the macro numbers are pointing in the right direction, because that is what will trigger investor confidence and private sector investment to support growth and inclusive growth that will lead to higher incomes. Now, if you look at the behavior of the forex market, we didn't start 2017 well, or the government did not start 2017 well because of the sharp depreciation of the cedi. But that was quickly reversed in the second quarter of 2017, and then we witnessed a broadly stable currency market to the end of the year and until now.
With a slowdown in the rates of debt accumulation and a rise in the GDP figures compared to the previous government, the current government is patting itself on the back of a job well done. But is that really the case?
Going forward, what is now being done is to find a way of not just improving on availability, but also trying to contain, the costs of power, so that businesses can have access to power in an affordable way that would not also cause higher, pricing pressures. And that signal has also been sent in the 2018 budget, where the finance minister proposed for consideration of the PURC a 13% or about 13% reduction in power tariffs for stakeholders to consider. I'll just say that I'll rate the government above average.
What should be the priority of President Akufo-Addo's government as it enters into the second year?
This year, I expect the government to prioritize expenditure in critical sectors of the economy to ensure that we stimulate or we jumpstart the engine of growth in the non-oil sector. Because one of the reasons why we experience substantial amount of growth, but we still are a bit cautious of what is happening in the economy, is the fact that non-oil sector remain weak. And you know that the non-oil sector accounts for more than 90% of our GDP, meaning that if you want an inclusive growth, if you want growth to trickle down, then you need to spend in the sector that will affect much of the people, and that's the non-oil sector. So I expect the government to channel and target those critical sectors.
The 2018 agenda for government is anchored on putting Ghana back to work again, from stabilization to growth. But for several other economists, it means there must be a change in strategy.
Mayor of Accra, Mohammed Ajay Sowa, says the AMA will consider expanding the Kwame Nkrumah Circle pedestrian mall as part of measures to sustain the decongestion exercise started. Now, traders at the pedestrian mall have raised concerns over spacing and other setbacks that have persistently made the mall unattractive to doing business. But the Accra mayor assures the expansion of the pedestrian mall is part of measures to complement the decongestion exercise and prevent hawkers from moving out onto the streets.
But here at the Kwame Nkrumah Circle, one question remains unanswered: whether or not all affected traders who are being told to move all over the way to the pedestrian mall have the capacity to fill in all these people. We shall be exploring these concerns and getting the right answers. Upon a visit to the Kwame Nkrumah Circle Interchange Pedestrian Mall, a prominent concern is a lack of space and poor ventilation associated with the facility that was once established to contain the issue of street hawking. This challenge, coupled with other concerns of security and flooding, is what has driven many traders here to the streets of the Circle Interchange. But from today, these traders will have no choice than to return to the pedestrian mall. Kofi Asimenin is the secretary at the pedestrian mall. He tells Joy Business refurbishing the already dilapidated mall could help in attracting brisk business.
We want the AMA to refurbish this place. If it's going to be like a mall, we shall be very happy. Doing business here is very difficult. The floods, insecurity is so worrying. The AMA must step in.
We put the concerns of the traders to the mayor of Accra, Mohammed Ajay Soa, who was supervising the ongoing decongestion exercise by officials of the AMA during the time of our visit. He tells Joy Business expanding the pedestrian mall is a top priority for the AMA. According to him, this move will complement the ongoing decongestion exercise.
If you go to Tiptoe now, it's a closed lane that we've allowed petty trading to go on the Tiptoe lane. So we are trying to expand, but failure to give you space, it doesn't give you the right or authority to come and sell everywhere. If you continue to allow that, one day they will be selling in your studios, one day they will be selling in our houses. I don't think that's the way to go. It's a pedestrian mall. You are supposed to sell small wares. It's not a big mall. That's why we call it a pedestrian mall.
Meanwhile, the decongestion exercise is expected to be run on a daily basis through a 24/7 task force who have been deployed at some positions across major market areas in Accra. For Joy Business, Charles Aite reporting.
The National Petroleum Authority, NPA, has sent a strong signal to it will be suspending operations of some oil companies in the marine gasoline distribution business. This action has become necessary due to the abuse of the tax holiday granted for fuel bunkering services along the shores of the country. Chief Executive of the NPA, Hassan Tampuli, disclosed this in a speech during the rebranding launch for Frames Oil in Accra. According to him, investigations over the weekend revealed many of the products found in the Ghanaian market are illegal. He also disclosed that government will be imposing taxes on all marine gas oils.
And the volumes have been increasing over time. And we observe that there has been some 2,000% increase in the demand. Now, this cannot be mathematically feasible. So we have to interrogate the demands. We checked, and we checked again. It turns out that some of the vessels that were claimed to be bunkered were not even in Ghana. So somebody takes the products and immediately dumps it on the Ghanaian markets without paying the necessary taxes, levies, and margins. Now, when we checked again, we saw that even when the vessel was in the country, the volumes that they requested was far in excess of the capacity of the vessel. Again, something is wrong. So as at Friday, when we began checking up, and this morning, we are going to suspend operations of MGO, and we have, in collaboration again with the Ministry of Finance, proposed the imposition of taxes, levies, and margin on all marine gas oil.
That's all we have for you by way of business. Thank you very much for your company. My name is Emmanuel Abuachi Viafi. There's more news ahead. Good evening.